Hello.
Morning.
Morning.
What's your name?
Ngigi Wanjiku.
So let's start by you telling people how we had to reshoot this.
You guys, we've had to reshoot this because Mr. Daktari here wrongly set the audio settings.
Tell us what you do professionally.
I am a doctor, a medical doctor,
Why did I specifically choose you?
because I'm awesome and I'm good at what I do.
No, it's because you have just practiced for a year.
We agreed it's not first year. Excuse me, I finished in 2019, 2021. 2 years. Okay. Well, in the applications, it doesn't.
It's okay. It's okay for you to be a young doctor.
It's okay.
Where did you go to medical school?
University of Nairobi.
When did you graduate?
The University of Nairobi.
When did you graduate?
2019.
Which month specifically?
Kwani watu graduate mwezi gani?
So December 2019.
I know where this is headed. On paper, when you calculate thoroughly, it looks like 1 year, but my experience
You feel like you've been a
resembles
doctor for
2
more than a
years.
year. Okay.
Coming from medical school, do you feel more knowledgeable than the general population?
But yeah, I do feel like I have substantially more knowledge than the general population.
And it's good since you use that knowledge to help the general population.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Was medical school demanding?
Eh, it was. It was very demanding. Very demanding. Well, being that I am a type A personality, I really struggled to find the center, like my center in medical school, because I wanted to be the best in everything. I wanted to be the best daughter, the best sister, the best friend, the best partner. I wanted to be the best, well, not the best in class, but I wanted to be above average. So I found myself being pulled into every corner. And so I really struggled.
Did you feel like you could drop one responsibility?
I didn't want to, because at that time I thought I can be everything to everyone. You know, that's a whole other video about self-care and how you can't be everything to everyone. But that's how I wanted to be. And so I remember having a mental breakdown every single year. Like I'd know, second sem, kifika hapo katikati, I'd get a mental breakdown. Like people, definitely I imploded a lot, so people would never notice. But I would reach a point in the year when I would crash, because I feel like everything is boiling down to something, and I didn't even know what that something was. So, hey, medical school, the ghetto with an AUX at the end, so it sounds French. Bourgeois, I get it.
How long does medical school take?
Again, written or actual? Okay.
Written.
It's supposed to be 6 years.
How long did you guys take?
Our guys took like 7 years because we had like strikes in between. Yeah.
How common is it for people to retake a year? Is it a stress factor?
Well, you still find people who are not self-aware enough who frown upon people who retake. It's actually fairly common because, you know, you're not just a student. Life is happening as you are studenting. So a lot of people, especially people who end up taking the year again, it's not because they're not smart, because the acceptance grades for med school, they're actually very high. It's because life happens and sometimes you're totally unable to cope, or you're just not interested in med school. There is that too.
When did you start internship?
Mid-January 2020.
I hear internship is akin to being thrown into the deep end. So did you float or swim?
Wow. You know, COVID struck during internship. It made it extremely hard, especially if you're in internal medicine at that time, because now you're struggling to understand the pool you've been thrown into, and then you have this very new disease that even scientists do not understand, and you need to have more knowledge than the people who are coming into the hospital. And you're like, I don't even know what this is, man. I don't know.
Were you guys provided with PPEs?
Yes, thankfully so.
Where did you do your internship?
Consolata Hospital, Mathare.
What areas did you rotate in?
We did surgery, and then now, thankfully for my facility, there was neurosurgery. So we did gen surg. Mlidhani Nyeri hakuna kitu. Kuna vitu. So neurosurgery, general surgery, and orthopedics. And then we had now internal medicine, and then pediatrics, which now had neonatology and general peds, and then obstetrics, gynecology, and community health and psychiatry. Those two. The last two you guys didn't have.
But was it a nice feeling having a salary for the first time?
Oh my God, when my salary hit the account. Hi. First of all, I felt a palpable sweat on my palms. Kazi ya mikono yangu. So I literally took the weekend off to just think. So I could handle the money well. You should see my book, my finance book. Hey, that month, it was so blue with ink.
When did you finish internship?
Mid-January.
Mid-January
Yeah.
20.
21.
2012.
This year. Najifanya.
So you really have been a doctor for less than a year.
Si nimekuwa daktari internship. Kwani mimi nilikuwa nini? Karatasi. Kwani sijakuwa nikitibu internship? Don't even answer that.
Okay, that's
Kwani
okay.
tuko mwaka gani? Oh my God. It's been less than a year.
Less than a
So
year.
in my CV, the way I've been applying, your experience, 1.5 years, 2 years, I've been lying.
What is the recommended doctor to population ratio?
In Kenya, it's 1:16,000, which is it's not good because it's supposed to be 1:1,000. So the ratio is less.
So basically, in layman terms,
Is it less or more?
the ratio is less, which means basically, let's just say we have a big shortage of doctors.
Since we know there's a shortage of doctors, what's the biggest hurdle for a newly qualified doctor?
The shortage is artificial because we actually do have numbers. It's just that the absorption is
So are you saying that once you qualify, it's difficult for people to get employment?
yes, which is so ironic.
How soon did you get a job?
I actually didn't. First, I had to take a wellness break. I was very intentional. So from mid-January, I started looking actively, I think end of February, thereabout, because I was just so done. I was drained.
By internship or by other things?
Just internship and other things. I don't know, like, hey, 2020 ilinitosha. So, I took the wellness break. Then now, after I came back, now that's like 3 weeks into job hunting. I had applied to every hospital in Nairobi because my focus was in Nairobi. Even Isili. I went to Isili. There's a hosi there that just deals with pregnancy. Ukifika huko wenyewe, like, you see how needed we are, but how unwilling people are to employ us. Like, it doesn't even make sense. You can literally see the numbers of patients, and you're like, you guys, you need us. Why aren't you employing? I know our salaries are a bit frenetic to most employers, but I mean, we are worth the investment. Why do we have to convince people that we are? We can actually turn that into a quote and post it as a status update. You're welcome. Thank you.
So you haven't told us if you got a job.
I did. Thank God. I went for the interview and I got the job because now the facility in question, at that point in time did need more doctors, and they were willing to employ.
Did you get the SLA gig?
Imagine, no. Okay, I'm quite disappointed, you can tell.
But did you really want the SLA gig?
I wanted to have like many jobs at once, but that wasn't God's will for me.
So you settled. Goes against your mantra.
Kusettle achia vumbi, stay dangerous.
So you're not dangerous?
Who says just because? Who told you that I'm just doing one job? Who told you? Ni venye sisi tunacheza chini.
Do you know any jobless doctor?
Sadly, I do. There are quite a number. Even with the shortage.
Off the top of your head, most gratifying thing when dealing with your patients?
The most gratifying thing is just seeing patients get better and finding a diagnosis. Because most of the patients come, sadly, I work in outpatient, most patients come, they've been literally everywhere, but the everywhere they've been is like places where people just misdiagnose, they cut corners, they come to you with a level of antibiotic resistance, and you're just like, sis, bro, I think this is what could be going on. And they're like, oh, makes sense. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And you treat them and they get better. It's very gratifying.
What's the most annoying thing that patients do?
Oh my goodness. Coming with what I call Googleomania. They've come in. They don't even introduce themselves. They come in with papers. Here, I've done an ultrasound, a CT scan, MRI. I went on Google and I'm like, sorry, what? And we did this. They've literally diagnosed and managed themselves from Google.
Just advise them, look at the camera and say something to them.
I'm gonna cry, okay? I will cry here. I'm G. Oh, but for real, if you're watching this and you're not a medical practitioner and you happen to feel unwell, please, I know it's okay to get curious, but please visit a qualified medical doctor first before you misdiagnose yourself on Google.
Police! 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 Help! Police! Help! Police!
Another thing that really, it's not irritating, but it makes me want to cry when a patient has all the indications of admission and they refuse to be admitted. I know, especially with cash patients, there's the whole, and in a private facility, you have to pay a deposit first. Sometimes the patients actually are able to pull funds, but they don't see the need for admission, and yet they have it. A patient with impending upper airway obstruction literally ran away. Like, we diagnosed, we were like, okay, this is what's going on. You need to be in hospital. You need a tracheostomy tube. And are you gonna insert that? Why are you running? Ah!
Why are you running? Why are you running? Yeah? You owe me money. You have to give me back my money.
No, like they were like, okay, daktari, saa tumelewa, tunakuja tu saizi. They went and never came back.
So they did what you do when you shop in Nairobi.
Is that karma? Because like mtu amekusaidia kuchagua hata nguo, hata you fit that nguo, you've taken photos, and then you're like, naenda nakuja, and you run away. The speed of light.
Since you've only been working for less than a year, have you already thought about what you want to specialize in?
Yes. I'd like to get into otolaryngology. The fact that I said that without breaking into tongues, it just means that it's meant to be ENT. When you're doing ENT, you basically deal with matters of the ears, the nose, and the throat.
As a potential self-sponsored student, how do you plan to pursue your postgraduate?
The first option, which a few people actually manage to do, is to calculate the total expenses and then save up for it. So you go maybe into a number of years before then, just saving up, investing, so that you get that money for fees, so that when you start, you just start. There's some people then who just decide to start with whatever they have and then do locums as they study. I think that's what. And then there are those who
That's what brave people do.
kina sisi. What is rest? Then definitely now there are those who are lucky enough to be sponsored. They have someone who's paying for them.
Since one has to juggle work and school, is it becoming more prevalent for doctors to leave the country?
Yeah, the thing is, yeah, that there are quite a number of sponsorship opportunities abroad, and there is a demand for doctors globally, and there are countries, governments that are willing to pay the price for having extra hands on board. So a lot of people are plugging into that space. Not that it's free, not that it's inexpensive, but because they see that the payout is actually worth more than working here.
Do doctors feel appreciated locally?
We feel really unappreciated. There are more people who are willing to pay the price and go abroad and study there and even live there than to stay here. Although education here is cheaper. So just like, nope. Imagine you're done with uni as a postgrad and you're still tarmacking.
What are your hobbies?
Is eating a hobby? Because, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there eating. I love traveling. I really do. Traveling, seeing the world. I picked up a new hobby of reading. There's a book I'm currently listening to. I read both physical and soft copy books, and then I listen to audiobooks, which is really great because it saves you a lot of time and energy.
Do you think people should subscribe to this channel?
Of course. Please just follow this. Follow this guy. Is exponentially the right word to use here? Like ostentatiously? Ostentatious knowledge. Abundant.
Yeah.
Overflowing in knowledge.
Yes, it's abundant. It's that.
Niwachane na maneno makubwa. Well, what? Hata me I know maneno makubwa, but no, let me not be argumentative.